from this to this. There's my puppy. Okay, so here is all of the ingredients, all of the materials that I plan to use when I first start. However, the moss over to the right, I end up using the greener moss sheets from the Dollar Tree. Everything here is from the Dollar Tree except for that bouquet that I just took apart for the greenery. However, you can get Dollar Tree greenery. So this is my Dollar Tree DIY. I actually do not, I have one somewhere. I couldn't find it. Those foam floral things that you like stab the floral into. So that's what in the teaching section, they have those big giant, like, what is it called? Dry erase dice. And that's what that is. That's what I'm going to use. I'm going to glue that in the bottom of the bucket. And right now I'm just cutting some wire to figure out because I want it to be bent. I don't want it to be straight up in the air. So I needed to add wire so it would stay bent. And now I'm opening that's that dice I was talking about. And I don't want the handles on there. I want it to look like a pot. And then I plan to make a baby one and do the little coffee can. And then I'm seeing how well of a hold it's going to be. And then I realize I can't really assemble the thing because it's not too tall for my table, but it would just be right up in the camera. So I'm actually going to do most of the work before I put it in the pot. So right now I'm cutting the mouth into the foam football. The only thing I've taken off the football so far is just those little fins, and I'm keeping those because that is what I will cut into the little teeth and paint white. So right now I'm removing some of the stuffing from inside of the mouth. And then as I'm doing that, I realized that part of it looked like a tongue. And that was kind of my whole question, is how did I want to do the inside of the mouth? Did I want a tongue? Do I want to make like a bump there? Stuff like that. So, and then I also removed some from the top because I only needed one tongue. And then I'm rolling that up and sticking it in the sides of the jaw to hold the mouth open. And then I will hot glue those in there. And I'm really realizing my camera is tipped. I need to turn this for future videos because I'm holding this really close to me. And hopefully later I move it towards the center of the thing here. All right, so this is where I'm gluing. And I also put like a little piece I glued under the tongue to have the tongue kind of sit up a little bit. So you could definitely tell that is what it is. And now what I'm doing is I am doing squiggly lines to make like the vein looking things with my hot glue. And I'm just squiggling down. And then I will also go on the other side of it. And then I do a few dots and just to add some detail. And now I'm going around the mouth area to give a little bit of a lip. And once this dries, I will get out my little palette so that I can start, because the colors I have, I have the white for the teeth, and then these are all Dollar Tree paints except for that gray one, I believe was Walmart. So that purple is fantastic. It really made everything pop and look really good. That purple's from the Dollar Tree, just like all the other colors. But I have the red and the yellow. The yellow wasn't as great as a yellow I would like. It said like, I hold it up to the camera later. Like, I have it right here. It says yellow oxide. So it wasn't like a bright, vibrant yellow. So not like the yellow that's on the football already. However, I mix a little white with it later and add some just to brighten it up a little bit. So if you're able to try and get a brighter yellow, I think, because that bright purple looks great against the red. So then the yellow, it was actually looking better, I felt like, when I was painting it, when I left the yellow from the actual football. But I was able to remedy it. I'm just saying, if you get your yellow from the Dollar Tree, see if they have a brighter yellow. Otherwise, maybe grab one from Walmart. So I first decide I need to paint the inside, which I'm kind of thinking maybe I shouldn't have glued the jaw part, because then I wasn't able to open the mouth wider. But I was able to kind of get under the tongue and stuff with the paintbrush. And so I did the bright red, and then I'm mixing to do like a darker. The inside is definitely harder. The spongy inside of the football is definitely harder to paint than the outside is once you get to that. I'm just mixing different colors, so it's not trying to tone down the red a little bit, and then I add purple, because on his gums it's usually purple. Even some parts of his mouth, it's quite purple. So I'm just starting with red and then kind of going, just adding to it and mixing colors. I was also noticing, like, when I was painting, I was worried that the paint wasn't going to paint over the hot glue, but it actually did really well once I got to the other side. I was thinking if I was supposed to maybe spray paint it or use some chalk paint or something, but it's just all Dollar Tree paints, and it worked great. And that little yellow dice cube thing worked really well too. It's just a foam dice that I was able to, I can't find my E6000, so I used clear Gorilla Glue that is basically equivalent to that, and put some hot glue in there to hold it until that stronger glue would dry. They actually had different sizes too at the Dollar Tree of the footballs. They had some without the fin thing, but I saw that and was like, oh, that'll make it even easier because it already has a stem. I'm really glad I went with those. But I did see that they have different sizes of footballs, and the other ones do not have that, but I want to kind of do other sizes of these. So I want to try the baby one, and they had a larger football as well. So I saw something similar to this at Target, and I just couldn't bring myself to pay for it, but it was adorable. And then I was seeing these replicas on eBay for $300 or something. I'm like, I can make that. So all Dollar Tree stuff. Let's see, the pot The pot's $1. The foam thing inside, this cube thing, $1. And then what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paints that I already had because they were from other projects. But if you say 5 paints, the other paint isn't from the Dollar Tree. So we've got, then the football, 7, 8. And then you get some greenery. It's like basically under $10 you can make this cute thing. And it's a great size. This is, let me measure this here. It's actually over a foot tall. It looks like it's 12 and 3, almost actually 13 inches tall. And that's with me doing the bend in it so that it's not just facing straight up in the air. I wanted it to be kind of tipped towards, And see, I really love that yellow on the football, like the yellow that was on the football itself. I was really loving how things were turning out. And then I went and made it harder on myself. But I did need to kind of go over the texture that I added with the hot glue gun. I think that's probably why I painted over it with my yellow, not realizing my yellow wasn't as vibrant. Oh, even the little palette and those little scissors that I used, the popsicle sticks I used later, and the paint brushes are all Dollar Tree. So once I get it green, now I'm kind of going over those little bumpy things, dry brushing some of the color stuff on there so that they stand out. Otherwise, you couldn't really, you could see the texture, but I really wanted to be able to see. And that purple, it's so cool. Also, you guys, I got in one of the previous videos where I was sharing some upcoming videos that I want to do. That tongue looks weird in this angle here on there, but I don't know if it's the shadows. So on one of the other videos where I was sharing kind of the things that I, like a Dollar Tree haul and ideas of what I'm going to do for videos, I had purchased a couple of those like dome terrarium looking things, like almost looks like the Beauty and the Beast that you put the little rose in, which I kind of want to try to do one of those. But I want to make like a little one and put it in that thing and put like a little sign that says feed me or something on it. So there'll be more videos with these guys. And I still have to make the video to show you how I made those magic wands, because that was all Dollar Tree stuff too, and they look amazing. People were thinking that it was like, there's where I'm lightening up the yellow. It's just not bright though, like I wanted it. And previously I had just painted that fin white because that will be what I will use for the teeth. And I only needed one fin for the teeth. I don't remember what I was saying. This was really fun though. I'm really enjoying getting back to being creative, and it's cool that the stuff isn't super expensive, so if you mess up, it's not that big of a deal. Like I was moving stuff around and I accidentally dropped one of the candles in the glass things and it broke. It's only $1, but It was, of course, they only had 3 left at the store, and I bought the last 3 because I wanted to make a little set of these things I'm going to show you. So I'll just make them with the two that I have left. But it's definitely fun. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to move the camera down because I'm really holding that close to me. Another thing I'm thinking, with these paints and stuff, people say that the Dollar Tree paints are cheap. I have like a clear coat sealer. I have it in gloss, I have it in matte, and I have it in pearl. So the pearl will spray a little bit of like shimmer or glitter. So that's the only thing I notice is this: you have to seal everything once you're done so that the paint doesn't rub off or anything like that. But you can seal it without it being shiny, with the matte, or doing it glossy so it's real, I think I want to do that with this. Not so much the leaves or anything, just the football part. I'll probably wrap something around the leaves and just spray a protectant clear on that. Probably clear gloss though, maybe. Yeah, I think I want to do the gloss. And I haven't, once, you'll see in the end, I basically, all I did with the bucket was just cut around to cut off the handles, and then I glue the cube in there. But I don't paint the bucket or anything. Oh, I put the moss and stuff like that, but the bucket is a red bucket from the Dollar Tree. Kind of looks orangish red, or I didn't do anything with it because I wasn't sure if I wanted to do the coffee can look or just a terracotta pot looking thing. So I haven't decided on that yet. And I might even put a little sign on that using those cute Dollar Tree, what are they? The little chalkboard signs or something. However, other than sealing it and finishing up the pot, the end of this video will show you the finished result, basically, other than the clear coat and what I decide to do with the pot itself. I think I might just do this one looking like a terracotta pot, so I might just paint it orange and then seal that as well. Maybe add a little sign or something. And then do the coffee can for the baby one. It's starting to come together now. What I'm doing here is inside of this straw tube looking thing, there's a hard straw. You can see that plastic hard straw. So I go up through the straw with the wire that I'm making. But I also wanted to carve out more so that it can go further down, so that the straw is in the whole part of the way, so that since it's heavy and it's going to be bent, I want it to feel secure in there. I actually got it really well in there that I didn't have to glue it in there. It's just stuck in there. And I believe this is, oh wow, that wasn't very long. I was going to say, I believe this is a very long spot where I'm searching and searching for my glue sticks. I had ran out of my glue sticks and had to locate those. So once I cut them and glue them in, then I can go in with a fine tip paintbrush. I will show you that in a little bit, where I paint the basically the edges that were not able to paint because they weren't cut yet. I just figured this would be the easier way than trying to hold onto a tiny little tooth and paint it. I guess that yellow looks good. As I was thinking it, then I flip it over and I don't really care for the underside. I just really like the vibrant. Look at those teeth. Then it really comes to life. It's so cute. All right, so this I think is when I'm going to, oh no, I have to wrap it first. So I'm basically taking the leaves from that bouquet that I took apart. The bouquet was like a pre-assembled flower bouquet arrangement decorative thing that I had purchased at TJ Maxx or Ross. I think it was, no, it wasn't Ross. It was TJ Maxx. You know, where their decorations are and stuff like that. It was probably like a $5 item. So, and then the other leaves I have, I don't end up using those. It really came together with these longer ones that are kind of curled down. And that was the green thing that was wrapped around that bouquet that was made out of the same material as the leaves. So I just went with it and wrapped it around the stem of this. And it covered up all the stuff. You could use like floral tape for that, or you could also use like almost like an extra leaf, like if you have like long leaves like that. It stands up really well. It's not tipping over. I'm just trying to make sure it's going to stay there until it dries. And then now I'm going to I'm crisscrossing some popsicle sticks around to give, because there's all this space around, as you can see, and I want to put the moss on top, and I don't want the moss to fall down. So I'm kind of making like a little table or flat spot, and then I can put some dots of hot glue on the popsicle sticks and then set in the green moss sheet. I end up taking the lid, or not the lid, but the round circle part that I had cut off with the handles and a black Sharpie. And that is how I got see, here's the green and there's the lid. I flipped it over and then I just traced that. It made it so much easier. Just cut around that. And then you just cut a slit down the center. And then I went around in the center just to cut out a little bit to make room for the stem. Cleaning up my mess. And I put it in there and it fit perfect. So now it was difficult to get out. I wish I would have just put the glue on there, but I wanted to make sure it was going to fit. So that is not quite the finished product, because now I have to paint the teeth. I think I even tried to zoom in for you guys. Oh, you can see my puppy over to the left. You can see her little She's always checking out what I'm doing, so sometimes she pops her head in. And then I showed her when I was done. She was not quite sure about that. Yeah, I think I'll like the pot once it's orange, maybe with a little sign. Those teeth seemed really wiggly to me as well when I was painting them, but of course then I didn't want to touch it to see because they were now wet with white paint. So, all right, guys, that wraps it up. Please make sure you like and subscribe. I appreciate it.